Is it her with Scarlett Johansson whispering in your ear? That's the dream, am I right? Is it Jarvis from Iron Man or the Star Trek Enterprise computer? I'm going to try to answer the question, what does an AI operating system look like in the future? What's up, everyone? I'm Benjamin D. Kraker. So the big news so far this week is Claude Cowork, which is basically a more normie-friendly UI version of Claude Code. Claude Code, of course, is Anthropic's chat-based system, which lets you do agent things with Opus 4.5, one of the most powerful coding LLM models out today. Well, like a lot of people, I've been using Claude Code, specifically Claude Code CLI. Is it CLI or CLI? CLI? I say Claude Code CLI, and now it's a habit, so fight me. I've been using Claude Code CLI almost nonstop for the last few months, making full use of the excellent Max X20 plan, which, unless you're a super power user named Ralph Wiggum, is the closest thing to truly unlimited Opus on the planet right now. Anyway, something I realized is that Claude Code in the terminal has essentially become my main operating system. This was fascinating the moment I realized it. Even though technically Windows 11 is my laptop's operating system, yes, I use Windows, come at me bros, I'm not really using Windows directly these days. Everything I'm not doing in my web browser Chrome is happening through the interface of Claude Code. I talk to Claude and AI agents go and do things on my system, running bash commands, writing custom little Python scripts to parse documents or debug something, even going into the Windows system level stuff behind the scenes to change settings or investigate why something isn't working right. And it's Windows, so something is always not working right. Increasingly, even the stuff in Chrome is being done by Claude, either in Playwright, so it can auto-debug stuff, or in Claude in Chrome, the beta that lets Claude take control of your browser. That works pretty well, it's just a little slow. And you know what all this reminds me of? DOS. See, I was born in the 80s, so I have fond memories of manually doing everything from the DOS command prompt. That was our operating system. Literally at the system level, of course, but also in the sense that it was the direct user interface that you had to use if you wanted just to get around inside a computer. We didn't have no newfangled Windows, and we had to walk uphill both ways barefoot to school. So it's both a little weird and kind of nostalgic that after 40 years we've come full circle. We're once again typing commands into a dark terminal to make the computer do what we want. Only this time, the computer understands plain English and might have a mental breakdown if you're too mean to it. If staring at the Claude Code CLI terminal all day is the equivalent of the AI era DOS, what comes next? Is the just released Claude Cowork a glimpse at where we're going? The answer is, kinda. If we're going to stay with the DOS analogy, and we are because it's my video, I think Claude Cowork is actually the MS-DOS shell of AI. For those of you born in this millennium, MS-DOS shell was a very early GUI that came out in 1988. It was sort of the awkward teenager phase between the text-only DOS era and the graphical Windows era. It was Microsoft's attempt to make computers more friendly for non-nerds without requiring heavy system resources that Windows demanded. DOS shell used a TUI, text user interface, which, guess what, are back in vogue with all the Claude stuff. You used a mouse to click text blocks that looked like buttons. Super basic by today's standards, but this was a real step forward from having to memorize nonsensical DOS commands and type stuff like atrib plus r plus hc :/secrets /plans.txt. That gets old fast. Where I'm going with this is, I think Claude Cowork is the awkward teenager phase of the next generation AI operating system. It's not what we're going to be using in 5 years, but it probably contains the sparks of what is coming next, especially the agent-based stuff. So what does an AI operating system look like in the future? Let's start with what I think it will not look like. I could be wrong, but my gut tells me it will not be Scarlett Johansson. Damn it. I mean, it won't exactly be a her-like audio-based voice that you talk to all day. This is also why I'm kind of skeptical of Sam Altman's rumored earbud device thing he's supposedly working on with Johnny Ive. Maybe it's just me, but I barely use the voice-based AI that I already have on ChatGPT and Gemini on my phone. I don't use the Grok voice either, even though I was involved with the voice training pipeline at XAI when we were giving Grok his voices. I mean, I use them sometimes, but not all the time, and not nearly as my main interface. Partially because the technical issues with AI voice where it isn't really the same as interacting with a human that still creates friction, but also because I'm just more of a typer than a talker. And if you look around, you'll notice the same thing. People are constantly on their phones, looking at their screens while waiting in line at Starbucks, tapping something as I walk down the sidewalk, all that. Screens are just really useful, and I don't think they're going away. Voice may be part of a bigger ecosystem, but it's not going to be an exclusively or even primarily voice-based AI operating system. Ecosystem is a good word for where I think we're going. It's not going to be one interface. It's going to be many different interfaces that let you check in on your AI agents throughout the day. You'll be able to send them a quick voice memo and they'll respond if they need to, or just send a message on your screen saying they acknowledge. You'll be able to give them tasks to work on, and they'll also proactively work on stuff that helps you and your goals. And you'll get updates or reminders here and there as needed. This is a lot closer to having an AI personal assistant who you interact with through all different ways, sometimes on Slack, sometimes on email, sometimes on voice, sometimes on video. The agents are always running, probably on the cloud, and you can use or not use them directly depending on what you're trying to do. But let's get back to screens for a moment. If screens aren't going away, and I don't think they are just because, well, seeing stuff and reading stuff is very useful, what will the AI operating system of the future look like in display form? Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it will look much like the Windows or Mac OS that we're used to. The current operating system that we're used to on our computers is still very rigid, structured both visually and conceptually to work in a certain way. The start menu's here, icons go here, everything opens in mostly same square boxes, which we've been doing for the last 35 years. But AI can adapt to us, not us to it. AI probably enables the next generation UI to be fluid and on demand. Interfaces won't exist until they need to, customized for your purpose. Instead of a start menu, the next OS might be more like a blank screen, with a perfectly centered text box in the middle and an AI agent architecture underneath. But on-demand interfaces are just the beginning, because what using Claude Code for hundreds of hours has shown me and many others is we're at the beginning of fully on-demand software. I think in 5 years, maybe even sooner, it will seem totally archaic to go find specific software to do a thing that you need done. You won't browse an app store or waste time reading reviews to make sure a program does what you need. You'll just spin up your team of AI agents and they'll craft the perfect program for you, just for your specific task and your workflow and your usage style. It won't be instant, but it will be pretty close. And then you can either reuse that custom software or let it dissolve back into the ether when you're done with it. The AI can always just make you another one next time, and will learn from what worked well for you last time to make the process even faster and better with each version. Well, what do you think? If you had to dream up the next era of AI-powered computing, what would the interface look like? Let me know and I'll try to respond. And if you found this thought-provoking, cool. Give me a follow if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.